In today's video, I'm going to be sharing with you details of a small cap stock with 10 catalyst and multi-billion dollar opportunities. And for MMTLP, we're going to be looking at details of why this may right now be the most critical time for resolution, especially with what's going on in terms of FINRA. Before we get started, let's have a look at what's happening in the market. So from Market Watch, we can see the stock market today, the S&P 500 and NASDAQ are on pace for a record close after shaking off the hot PPI reading, and small caps have been retreating. S&P 500 is recovering from the lows, although right now it is still fairly flat. And in other news, we can see that Trump has stated that Putin wants to make a deal, and I think if that deal does happen, it should be a huge boost for the markets. Cryptos were down approximately 4.4% earlier after reports of Bitcoin risks. And what we can now see in terms of the PPI news, we can see PPI came in at 3.3% year on year versus the expected 2.5%. The PPI core was 3.7% compared to the expected 2.9%, so not as good as figures as expected. However, jobless claims were up 224,000 compared to the estimated 225,000. Let's now have a look at some interesting stock news. And from Amit, we can see there was news in terms of Grab, ticker symbol GRAB, which has been covered on a number of occasions on the channel. Howard Marks has added 1.2 million shares of Grab, averaging up, and has now got approximately 11.5 million shares, representing a 30% increase in the company's weighting within the portfolio for quarter one. And Howard Marks is from Oak Tree Capital Management with a great record in investing. So one of my earlier videos on AMD, question here is, if you did have $100,000 to invest for the next 5 years, which one would you put your money in and why? AMD versus Nvidia. So starting from today, as far as I'm concerned, my money would be on AMD. Loco 813 has also stated eventually AMD may well surpass Nvidia, but in the short term, I think the gap is going to close, and he agrees with that. However, for a certain amount of time, I think Nvidia will be the king. But I think from an investment point of view, AMD right now potentially undervalued. One other thing I'd like to share with you is go ahead and check out the previous video where I shared details of $19 dividend paying gold stock, up over 92% in 2025, and also right now trading approximately $19. Let's now look at details of a small cap stock with 10 impending catalyst and multi-billion dollar opportunities, known as ticker symbol CETX, Semtrex Incorporated. So in terms of company profile, this is a company that operates as a technology company in the United States. It is also heavy in AI, and it operates through security, industrial services, and Semtrex corporate segments. On the left-hand side, we can see some recent news there, and from GlobeWire, there was also highlights from a $1.3 million in notable new contracts in the past week. Also, the shareholders were looking at an update in terms of highlighting growth across Vicon and AIS divisions, and they also acquired $1 million in Solano. So we'll have a look at some details of those things there. But let's start first of all by having a look at the chart for the previous month. It is trading fairly flat. It's a small cap with a market cap just in excess of 4 million. So any move in this or any news and catalyst will certainly drive this stock up. Currently trading at $1.26. So potential opportunity for a huge move in CETX. Let's have a look at some research and due diligence from Small Caps Daily, and we can see here Semtrex Incorporated is at the forefront of redefining the future of security and industrial services. I think one of the reasons for this is because of their Vicon Industries and also the advanced industrial services, taking advantage of benefits of AI. So the company is driving growth and innovation in rapidly expanding markets. So there is a global demand for smart security solutions, especially in the industrial services, and the company is positioned to capture significant market share. So they have strategic investments, especially in AI-driven security systems and advanced industrial services that are setting the stage for long-term success. So the company do have a long-term vision, and Semtrex is committed to delivering value to the shareholders by capitalizing on this growing market demand, executing advancing strategic initiatives, scaling its operations effectively, obviously reducing the costs, innovative products and services, and these are key to unlocking new opportunities and sustaining growth. So Semtrex is also well placed to lead with its cutting edge solutions and unlocking substantial growth potential in the years ahead. So we are going to have a look at some of the financials and details of that as well. But in terms of following on from what we've already looked at in terms of the company profile, we can also see that Semtrex delivers expert rigging, millwrighting, processing piping and equipment installation services to manufacturers nationwide across the USA, with a focus on innovation, execution and strategic growth. So the company are quite well diversified there, and we can see right now as far as Semtrex is concerned, they are exploring billion-dollar opportunities, and obviously they certainly are well positioned to meet this huge potential growing demand through strategic expansion. So in terms of the revenue from 2024, we can see the revenue growth was approximately 13% at $66.9 million. We're going to have to look at the latest figures shortly as well. So, and this marked a strong year on year of growth. So they are addressing growing demand for advanced security and industrial solutions, taking advantage also of the need for AI. The market lacks a comprehensive, scalable security systems that integrates this AI-driven analytics and seamless cloud-based platforms. Semtrex recognizes this gap and it is offering cutting-edge, customizable security solutions and industrial services designed to enhance safety, operational effectiveness, and scalability across diverse sectors. And these are providing much needed innovation in critical markets. So I think the potential in the future is huge. So they have growth in two dynamic subsidiaries. The first one is Vicon Industries, and the other one is Advanced Industrial Services. So the Vicon is bringing in revenue just in excess of 32 million, and Industrial AIS is bringing in revenue of just in excess of 34.8 million. That was for the year 2024. Let's now have a look at the figures for the period ending March 31st, 2025, and this is now showing revenue growth just in excess of 12.93 million at 73.82 million. So we can see here sustainable and continued growth since 2022, and if we look at the operating income, that's also very close now to being profitable. From September the 30th, 2024, a loss of just in excess of 4.7 million. That's been reduced to just in excess of $500,000. However, we can see gross profit is up quite significantly from 27 million to just in excess of 31.32 million. Now, if we have a look at the balance sheet, I think what's significant here is the cash growth, and the cash growth is a very healthy 55.39% for the period ending March 31st, 2025, and total current assets right now just in excess of 28.61 million. Let's have a look at 10 catalysts which could drive huge significant success for Semtrex, and the first one is market opportunity. There is a global market opportunity which is set to grow from 120.79 billion in 2025 to 151.5 billion by 2030. That's for global security. But if we have a look at the industrial control market, this is expected to grow from 255.88 billion in 2024 to 399.12 billion in 2029, and that is going to offer substantial opportunities for Semtrex, which is very well positioned. In terms of revenue growth, we've just seen the figures, again significant growth in revenue from 13% in 2024, and we've just seen another growth from $66.9 million to just in excess of $73 million for the 31st of March 2025 period. Number 3, strategic acquisitions. The company is actively pursuing strategic acquisitions to further accelerate growth. This includes targeted acquisitions, and it is expected to add approximately $3 to $4 million in annual operating income. So they're extremely positive there. The company has also got extremely positive and experienced leadership under the CEO Saga Govil. He's been with the company since 2008. And in terms of company awards and recognitions, they've also earned multiple industry awards, including the prestigious Innovation Award at the Electronic Security Expo, and as well as the Secure Campus Award for the next modular sensor system. And this is cementing the company's position as an industry leader. So certainly very prestigious there. We've also seen news with regard to blockchain and integration. I'm going to share details of that shortly as well. But number 8, innovative product portfolio and also a next modular camera system. And this is setting standards for an AI-driven, scalable and cost-effective security solution, which I certainly think is the way forward for the future. Number 9, I think this is extremely positive and significant, and that is global expansion, because this is certainly going to drive revenue growth. And Centrex are strategically expanding their presence in international markets worldwide. This includes securing significant contracts in the Middle East and also India, which I think could be huge, especially for the long term. And finally, number 10, we're going to have robust financial growth. We've seen the revenue growth and a strong balance sheet, and the company is well positioned to deliver long-term value for the shareholders, as well as expanding its market research. Let's now look at more details of the Solano acquisition of $1 million, and we can see here Centrex acquired the $1 million in Solano, so that's citing structural mispricing and also targeting $10 million in crypto treasury reserve. And what the CEO has stated is that Solano is the most underappreciated layer 1 blockchain in the world today, and it's processing more real-world transactions than any other blockchain combined. So again, certainly positive there. And in terms of the news, we can see here from Globe Newswire also confirmed Centrex acquires $1 million in Solano, citing structural mispricing, and it's also targeting a $10 million crypto reserve. And we can also see here news again from GlobeWire confirming $1.3 million in notable new contracts per week in the past week, across security industrial divisions, reinforcing the 2026 growth outlook. So let's now go ahead and have a look at the investor presentation with regard to advanced AI analytics, which I think could be a huge catalyst driving the company forward in the future. So if we look at the value of artificial intelligence, AI helps classify objects to expedite investigations, lower storage costs, and reduce nuisance alarms. So what the company are looking at is they're looking at their platforms and technology and innovations to require less processing power, thereby reducing hardware costs. And also operators can filter searches by people, vehicles, animals to reduce the amount of non-relevant video they have to watch, and this enables faster and also incident resolution quickly. Object-based recording options ensure system records on relevant video only, and this reduces obviously storage costs and requirements, and also they are providing real-time notifications, which I think is what the market will look at. So from an investor point of view, if we look at the operations and outlook, especially with regard to Vicon, we can see overall outlook in revenue remains optimistic for continued 15 to 20% revenue growth on average over the next few years, and AI is going to be at the core of product roadmap. So there are opportunities for recurring revenue as the industry shifts also to a software solutions based solution. So let's now have a look at the key takeaways as far as the investor relations page is also concerned. So Vicon shift to AI-based analytical solutions is there to drive and obviously focus on securing a lot more recurring revenue growth, which is going to be very positive for the company. AIS is set to expand with strong growth in the industrial services market, and also the segment revenues increase approximately 39% to $34.8 million for the period 2024. So there is a goal of achieving full year operating profit. We've seen that the company are very close to that, and they're working to drive revenue and maintain tight cost controls. So that's certainly positive. There is a $10.4 million Valerius expansion order from a state government corrections customer, and also 3 contracts from AIS totaling $11.4 million. And I do expect a lot more increase in orders going forward for the future. And one of the reasons for this is a large growing addressable and mature market in security, business, manufacturing, government and industrial, not only in the US but worldwide. So if we have a look at the rapid expansion expansion of global security and industrial services markets. Semtrex Incorporated, trading on the Nasdaq under ticker symbol CETX, is very well positioned for significant growth, long-term success, and right now potentially a good buy price. So in summary, they're at the forefront of industrial services sectors. They have a strong portfolio of AI-driven security systems. They're well positioned to capitalize on a growing demand in these high growth areas. They have very, very strong financial growth. I believe they're going to be very, very close to profitability, potentially also likely to happen in 2026. There is a good focus on integrating blockchain technology, and we've seen that the CEO is a huge positive on this. And they have a proven track record and an experienced leadership team, especially with the CEO. And they're also offering long-term shareholder value while expanding in the global presence and market footprint. And I am also certainly excited by their growth opportunities and contracts across the Middle East and India. So keep an eye out on ticker symbol CETX, Semtrex Incorporated. I certainly think this stock should be on your watch list going forward, but certainly do your own due diligence. Let's have a look at the latest updates for MMTLP and what could be the most critical time for resolution. But again, following on from the previous video where we looked at these important news and developments, especially with regard to FINRA. So what Whiskey has stated here is that FINRA is claiming that Meta is on a fishing expedition, and however notorious, claims for market manipulation against several parties were found well over a year ago. So we can see highlighted in yellow here, the trustee has employed special counsel to investigate potential claims and pursue litigation related to stock manipulation through illegal trading practices such as inverted commas naked short selling and spoofing, which I think it looks like the SEC are certainly and the FINRA are certainly saying seem to be suggesting there is no such thing as. So let's have a look at a significant post from George Palikaros, who's tagging in ELF, who's actually found some important information with regard to trading totals published on the SEC's own website, and obviously there are some important questions here with regard to cancellations and trade data. But what George has stated is this isn't ignorance, it looks like selective blindness. Thank you for sharing this. And are you saying that the SEC's own trade data shows that TRCH MMAT was being carpet bombed with cancellations? So what's going on here? Certainly ridiculous. We need to find out from PHLX and OCC who listed the TRCH options, tagging in John Berder and asking if he's seen the data and does he have any clues on who could have listed these options. So what I'd now like to do is give a shout out here to the MMTLP investor, and he stated, why is it FINRA working so hard to obfuscate the truth, literally spending 1,000x what it would cost just to release the blue sheet? So I think that's a very, very interesting and important point. I think there's a lot of truth in that, why they're spending 1,000 times more defending these legal cases than it would cost to release the blue sheet data, and which is obviously much simpler thing to do. So instead of just being transparent, they are using the taxpayer money, or should we say the SRO money, to do this. Is there collusion? That's the big question. And I think what I'd now like to do is share a post from Lowell the Patriot, and he stated here, all retail investor communities, now is the time to come together before it's too late. It's huge for all retail communities. We need your voice. FINRA have just filed a motion in the Metamaterials bankruptcy to block the subpoenas for the trading data and Rule 2024 exam. If they win, it sets a national precedent. FINRA could be forced to hand over raw market data in bankruptcy or fraud investigations, and never, in other words, they could never be forced to hand over. So I think whatever precedent happens now, I think it could be huge, not only for MMTLP, but every single other potential manipulated stock out there, including GME, AMC, BBBY, and many more. And thank you very much for watching. Please stay tuned.